NFL Insider Jason La Canfora. Jason, what more can you tell us about the deal that went down?
Yeah, I mean, look, this is a team that told you all year long, Belichick, Josh McDaniels, everything you heard from inside that team facility and inside that locker room was, we believe in Cam Newton. We see leadership. We see an ability to unlock a running game. And we know that we have deficiencies on our roster, right? You had Bill Belichick talking about, hey, we're paying our dues with the cap, and we have to go in a different direction. We're out of the Tom Brady business now. And look, was some of that double talk from him? Absolutely. But the reality was they don't have wide receivers. They don't have tight ends. They don't have a special running back. And the offensive line came together in the second half of the year and was a little better, but was a problem most of the year. It's hard to fix all that on the fly. I don't think they're going to be able to fix all that on the fly. But one thing they could do with Cam Newton under center was run the ball. And you look at a Ben Roethlisberger in Pittsburgh, right? I mean, older quarterback, not very mobile, not great stuff up front on the O-line. They couldn't run the ball a lick because they couldn't get anybody to move the spot around. They couldn't play with mesh points. They couldn't get in the pistol and run RPOs. Cam allows you to do that. Now, is that what they want to be for 100% of the snaps next year? Remains to be seen. They're exploring quarterbacks in the draft. They've been working hard on quarterbacks in the draft for years, and they've been selecting quarterbacks relatively high in the case of Garoppolo with some regularity, Jacoby Brissett. So this is very much in their mold. It doesn't preclude them from doing other things. They have more cash and cap flexibility than they've had in a long, long time. But this is not a team that, by and large, goes and resets the market at certain positions. I don't see them giving Kenny Golladay $20 million a year on the open market. But this is the kind of young veteran, no frills, not much risk involved, and they see, high-end potential there. And will they get better as a passing game this year? There's nowhere to go but up, I guess you could say.
No doubt. It seems like this deal makes sense, Jason. And again, you talked about a few things on the Patriots side, which I'll follow up in just a second, but let me keep it with Cam. Was there any type of market for the former MVP anywhere outside of New England, best to your knowledge?
Nothing substantial. You don't see quarterbacks do back-to-back one-year deals for, below average salary at their position when there's anything close to a feeding frenzy for them. And look, Cam is a guy, too, who was away from football for a long time. He went through COVID last year. He went through some other physical things. So is 2021 the year where you have more of a normal offseason, where at least for him, he doesn't have any physical limitations on his ability to do whatever he wants to do, running, throwing, etc. A normal training camp, normal time in the building to spend extra time with coaches, to not have to do all that stuff virtual. And then does that set him up to rebound in 2021, to continue being the dominant force on the ground that he is, and to get back to where he was as a passer before these injuries mounted, and with the cap set to, look, if anything, it might not soar in 2022, but at least it's going to go this way and not that way. And it's going to go this way by at least probably $10 million. And then the year after that, it probably goes crazy. So I think there's a lot to be said for another reset year for Cam, somewhere where he is familiar, somewhere where things are known to him, where he established a base last year to try to soar from there and set himself up to have more of that feeding frenzy, to have a more robust market and a better cap economy a year from now.
All right, so let's get back to the Patriots. You mentioned maybe not breaking the bank for Kenny Golladay. We talked about Hunter Henry, and I'm just sort of spitballing here, Jason. But what do you think the first order of business is in trying to get Cam now a little bit more help and try to improve that team from a roster construction standpoint?
I don't know that the Patriots are going to be a team that you see, next Wednesday when the floodgates open, running around throwing blank checks at people. Bill Belichick's got a winning culture there. Bill Belichick is sort of about the collective over the individual. Even though the Patriots have more money in cap at their disposal than they have in years, I don't see them winning bidding wars against the Jaguars, against the Bengals, against the Jets for players, because those bad teams are going to be willing to pay a premium that Bill Belichick has never really been willing to do it. It's just not what they do. When he gets high-priced guys, he gets them from other teams where they're already deep into their contract, and it's more team-friendly. You know, that you see the Darrelle Revises, and, you know, you go back over time, Randy Moss, he buys low on those guys. So, look, do I think they get a tight end at some point? Probably they should. Do I think it's Hunter Henry? No, maybe Jonnu Smith. I think he will find a handful of offensive linemen. I think the days of paying Joe Thuney $15 million a year are over. You know, they didn't tag him a second time. But I think he'll find a mix of athletes up front that he likes. I'm not sure any of them are going to make more than $5 to $10 million again, but he's always been about finding treasure in somebody else's garbage. And that takes time, and that takes a little patience. But he has a cachet. He has all those rings. He has all those trophies. And that often precludes him having to give somebody an extra million or two to come to Foxborough.
Certainly does take pride in that, Jason. We got one more before I let you go. And then again, Cam Newton's going to return, but by no means is he solidified as the guy. So what do you think the quarterback situation is, either through trade or, you know, the draft or whatnot? How do you think the approach is now, even with the news today?
I think they're always open for business. And we saw the Indianapolis Colts, for instance, last year. I think Jacoby Brissett was averaging $16 million a year to be a backup. So I think depending on who they get, if there is a veteran, if Garoppolo can be had for pennies on the dollar, could they have a scenario there where there's packages for Cam and things go in a certain way? Yeah, they'll have that kind of flexibility. But now they have Cam. We'll see if San Francisco is able to upgrade in their estimation through the draft or through trade. And look, again, they do a lot of work on quarterbacks every year. They had been preparing for the end of Tom Brady's regime for years and trying to find the next guy. They thought they had the next guy in Garoppolo, but they reached a point in the contract where you either trade him or you get nothing for him. So, yeah, I would say this doesn't take them out of any avenue they want to explore quarterback-wise. But this is a player Bill Belichick really likes. This is a player that Bill Belichick sees value in. And this is a player who, if nothing else, unlocks their run game.
All right, great stuff as always. Jason La Canfora, the latest on the breaking news there. By the way, if that text is important, we're to bring you back, Jason. Certainly appreciate it, man. Thanks.
You got it.
All right, Pick Six podcast there. Will Brinson and the Super Friends. I'm sure this will be a topic of conversation. If not, an emergency pod. The guys do a great job as always. Download and subscribe, and Cam Newton will be talked about for sure.
Want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis. No yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.